Hey folks, this is half of the History File team. My sidekick Mary is, well, she's working. She's got a very busy week with her job and her farming. So I'm just going to go down to the Trempealeau County Fair today. This is the first day of the fair. It's the Thursday. This is 2022. It's a beautiful day in July. And I'm going to look around, and I'm going to remember what the fair was like when I was growing up. It's an old fair. It's been around for quite a while. So I'm on my way, and I'll just talk a little bit about what I remember of the fair, and then we'll look and see what's at the fair today. When I was a really little kid, and my parents would take us down to the fair, that was a big day. Oh boy, that was so excited. We'd usually go on a Sunday afternoon, and we'd go down and we'd look at all the pigs and the cattle, and then we'd go on some rides and look at all the exhibits. It was a big deal, and I loved the merry-go-round. For me, the merry-go-round, that was the thing. But then when I got older and I was in 4-H, and that would have been in the 1960s, exhibiting at the fair was always a lot of fun. And at that time, there were a huge amount of dairy cattle that were shown at the fair. It was kind of like the height of the dairy show. There were a lot of big farm families there showing their cattle. Lots and lots of dairy cattle. They had problems fitting them into all the barns. There were so many. I had a friend who had 4 children, and they farmed outside of Ettrick, and each of those 4 kids would take 3 cows to the fair. Some of those cows were mature cows that were milking. So that meant that twice a day, those cows at the fair had to get milked. And then at some point, the parents had to run home and milk the herd at home as well. So that was pretty exciting. I'm sure that was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. And nowadays, the dairy show is much smaller, but that reflects the changes in our county, in that we don't have all the dairy farms anymore. We don't have all the families that were dairy farmers. That was their occupation. So things do change, but it's still a delightful fair. It's a very small fair compared to some counties. And my part down there now is myself and Lori Mahoney and Seisha Anderson. We kind of take care of the Lee Schoolhouse. And that's an old one-room schoolhouse that used to be over near North Bend in Jackson County, but after it was closed, they moved it down to the Fairgrounds in 1967. So it's a pretty old schoolhouse, but we've done a lot of work on the interior. We've tried to bring it back to what would have been the authentic interior of a one-room school. And we get a lot of people through there who really enjoy it. So that's kind of my part at the fair these days. It's really enjoyable to get to talk to a lot of people, to explain to kids what a one-room schoolhouse was really like. The year that Seisha Anderson and I were supposed to start school on Decorah Prairie at that one-room school, we would have been in the first grade with one other boy, Chuck Swartzoff. We would have been the entire first grade. And my teacher would have been my great aunt, Agnes Hunter Johnson, and everybody remembered her as being just a super teacher. And we were so excited. This was 1956, and we were going to be starting first grade at Decorah Prairie School, and then they closed it. That was the year they closed it, so we never got to go to school up there, although we had hung out there a lot for various events. But we still feel that we got shorted, and we never were able to have that one-room school experience. So anyway, I'm on my way to the fair, and we are going to be looking around. Hello.
Hi.
I know that lady. How are you, Carol?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Oh, it's come in the
You want a brochure?
No, it's okay.
No? Okay, thank you.
Well, I'm going to be at the schoolhouse a lot, so yeah, we'll see you over there. So we'll see you later. Yeah, you too. All right, getting ready to trek over to the schoolhouse. All right, so here's Thursday. All the rides are set up. Things that I used to be crazy about going on, but not anymore. I can imagine if I went on the Tilt-A-Whirl now, I'd probably be in bad shape by the time the ride ended. And here's my domain, the Lee Schoolhouse. Well, here's the interior, so I just have to get some light in here and be ready for people to come through and look at everything. So this is our old one-room schoolhouse, and we've tried to restore it as faithfully as possible. And all around the walls we have pictures from some of the 110 one-room schools we had in Trempealeau County. And what we would really like to get somehow is one of those wall hanging picture displays. It kind of opens like a book, so we could get some of these that are down low up higher so people can view them more easily. Hello.
Hi.
Come on in.
Hi. What would you think of coming to school in Newton?
Wouldn't that be fun? Huh?
I was just telling.
And here is our Tucker map from 1877. And we had this laminated and then mounted. Ron Reimer, who works out of the beach school, did a wonderful job of helping us preserve this map. And what's interesting about this map is it has these beautiful drawings, hand-done drawings. This was before the time of commercial photography, done beautifully with different houses and businesses throughout the county in 1877. And also, it's kind of like a plat map in that it shows all the parcels, the land, and who it was owned by, although I always get a kick out of some of the Polish names down here by Dodge and Arcadia. I think when I see the spellings, it makes me think that some of the Polish names just absolutely defeated the person that was going around and getting the information for this map. But this is the 1877 Tucker map, and it is it's really fun to get a good look at it. It has the little city directories along the side. It was a very different county at that time. Here we've got pictures of some of the teachers from the rural schools. Come on in. Yeah, come on in. We just got here. Just got these things opened up. Come in, take a look around. Now these are all the pictures here were brought in from people that went to the different country schools. So they're all put together around the side here. Yeah, this is where the kids went to school. Although this school was actually over in Jackson County, and they moved it here after it closed, which must have been quite the quite the adventure to get this thing moved down here in one piece, but they did. Did you enter something?
I did. I entered, let's see.
What's yours? Oh, with the buttons? Oh, how
For
neat.
each of my boys, because they're the make shirts.
Yeah, that is a really nice idea. Beautiful idea. Yes, I am very impressed with some of these things we've got.
Things are up this evening.
I hope so.
Did you bring anything?
No, maybe next year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you bring any baking or anything?
No, I'm not a baker.
No? No, I'm not
Don't
either.
even pretend.
I'm not either. It's just.
When I was in 4-H, the judge told me my pie crust tasted better than it looked.
Oh. Well, I guess that's good, huh?
Yeah. It didn't look very good.
Yeah.
It tasted okay.
Well, Thursday is just kind of the day when they're doing some judging and getting all the exhibits in place. So it's pretty quiet, but tonight there's supposed to be a rodeo and they're going to have an opening ceremony. But I will be back tomorrow, and on Friday there'll be some animal judging and it'll probably be a little more exciting. This is Friday morning and I am on my way down to the fairgrounds just to get a few shots of the fair and maybe see some of the judging. And I want to share this picture with you because it's one of my favorites. It was taken in the 1920s, and it shows the midway of the Trempealeau County Fair. And I think one of the things that I really like about it is that it is such a candid shot. Back in the 20s, people were still, you know, grouping themselves and standing absolutely still to have their picture taken. But here's a picture where the photographers set up and just took a picture of a bunch of people without them really knowing it, and they were not really conscious of having their picture taken. It's just a real good natural view of what the fair was like in those days. And it was such a wonderful thing when I was growing up if you were a country kid, because during the fair that meant that was a time during the summer that you actually came into town, and it was just a magical time. And it seemed like the farm families really supported the fair back then. Like I said, there were a lot of showing of dairy cattle. They were running out of barn room at time, and it used to be that they showed the cattle just on kind of an oval area between some of the barns. And one year, I remember, must have been around 62 or 63, it just rained and rained and rained for the fair. And that oval area just became an absolute mud pit. It was terrible. So now we have the Farm Progress building that you can go inside and show without worrying about the rain. So I'm on my way to the fair, and we'll just get a few more shots today of what the fair looks like in 2022. It's always a fun time. Now, when I was in 4-H, this was the 4-H cafeteria. And I don't know if they're using it for anything anymore right now. It's kind of to the south of the Merchants Building. But it used to be where the kids that came down to show, and they were from parts of the county where they would just stay down here for the fair, that they would come here to get their meals. And as I recall, the food was actually furnished by the different 4-H club families that was brought in. And it was wonderful food, but I would imagine today a situation like this would absolutely give the health department fits. But this was the 4-H cafeteria. And this is the Merchants Building. And when I was young, I just remember, it seemed like every year when you went through here, they usually had somebody that had a bunch of baby chicks or baby ducks. And the baby ducks would have a little swimming pool and a slide, and the ducks would go up and down. It was great. This is the Youth Exhibit Building. And this was actually the old dormitory, but now it is the Antique and Quilt Exhibit. Are they having a regular quilt show, or are they
This
judged?
is the quilt show.
And they're judged or just exhibited?
The judges are, it's people's choice. We have
Oh,
where
okay.
people can vote.
Oh,
And,
okay.
And this is different versus the antique quilts that were in the fair,
Yeah.
and the quilts that over in the next building that people need
Okay.
themselves in the last year. So.
Oh, over in the homemaker type building.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So there's quilts over there too. Lots of beautiful ones.
So you're giving out free shots? Is that the deal?
Yeah.
Oh, I've already had 4 of them. I think I'm up to par right now.
Spread the word.
Yeah. But you do give the shots here.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, cool.
We'll be here those times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you expect a lot of people?
No. But it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's good. My mother was a nurse in World War II.
Oh wow.
And she told stories about having to give shots to these like Marines and Army guys, and she said you had to watch them because a lot of them would faint. She said they would just go down like a tree, boom, you know, when they saw that needle.
Yeah.
Even though they'd been in combat.
That's very funny. That'd be my husband.
Oh, yeah, I guess it's not uncommon.
through 12 grades. Each one will come out individually and see how they can show and handle their pick in a class and compete against students who are exhibitors who are engaged. Again, I'll encourage those younger members to come out and watch this class. Parents, grandparents, if you've got younger kids who are in those younger fellowship classes,
Like right here, so I think we're missing for sure. There might be a couple others that I don't.
It's me. Recording this for posterior.
What's that?
Just recording it for posterior, I guess.
I think it's gonna work.
Pull that.
Hi, Nancy.
I know these girls. Looking good, huh? What's your steer's name?
Tom,
Tom? Well, that's easy to remember, isn't it?
Tom, and Jerry.
Tom, oh, Tom and Jerry. Okay. I like that. Tom and Jerry. Huh?
Hey, Sawyer.
Hey, Nancy.
Hi, how are you doing?
How are you?
Oh, good. So how many horses have you got here?
We got all three.
Oh,
Good job, guys.
Good for you.
Ava went out to Bill's today. Good job.
That's a lot of work.
Yes. Ava and Will.
Hi, girls. Hi. Hi, guys.
And Dash is at daycare, so we actually have the day. So that's
Ah, okay. So this is your old guy, right?
This is my old guy.
Yeah, he looks good.
He does. He had a good winter. We really figured out the concoction to help him stay. Yeah.
How old is he?
27.
I've got one that's that age too.
Yeah.
But he is a pistol.
He's a lover. He is. He's just. And we had our little descriptors here and there, but then they flew out last night in the storm. So I haven't gotten new ones. Yeah, that's what I thought we'd go at lunch, but.
Mr. Sawyer, I didn't even recognize you. I heard that's a rat's nest. That's what your brother said.
Well, my brother is, where is he?
Okay, this has been the fair kind of from one end to the other, and this is Friday, and right now it's the pigs that are being shown, and this afternoon it will be beef and the horses, although the rain's looking a little muddy out there today, but it usually dries up pretty fast. So things change. When I was a kid, they didn't have the horse project, not until, I think I was up into high school. And it used to be just a lot of dairy cattle. So things change, and it's just a fun place to be. And it wouldn't be the fair if they hadn't had a rainstorm. It seemed like every year you had a rainstorm. Always changes, and the fair board does their best to take care of things and help accommodate the animals. And it's not real hot today, so that's good. It's a lot easier on the animals if it's not terribly hot. No?
Each one will come out individually and see how they can show and handle their pig in a class and compete against students who are exhibitors who are engaged. Again, I'll encourage those younger members to come out and watch this class. Parents, grandparents, if you've got younger kids.
Lynn? Oh, here you are again. Well, all the kids, holy cow.
All my little
Have you got all your grandkids?
Here.
Yeah.